going on, everyone? So there were rumors that came out the other day that the New York Knicks would be interested in potentially trading Julius Randle. Now, the reports said that they were open to it. This doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to trade him or that they're necessarily looking to trade him. But as with all things, right, if you get the right offer or something that makes sense, then why wouldn't you do it, right? There's very few guys, probably 3 to 4 guys in this league that are really untradeable, right? That are like, they're on the list of like, you're not trading them for anybody. Anybody else is basically fair game. Again, if you get the right package, if you get the right return. So I fully doubt that the New York Knicks would trade Julius Randle. The Knicks have been just in fuego, just playing excellent basketball since the OG Anunoby trade. And Julius Randle this season in 39 games is playing almost 36 minutes a game, 35.6. He's averaging 18.5 field goal attempts, shooting 47.3% from the field. He's shooting 30% from 3, which is rough. It's never good, but he's shooting 54.4% from 2-point range. He's shooting 78% from the foul line, and he's averaging 24.4 points, 9.2 rebounds, 4.8 assists, we'll round up, steal, and half a block. So he is putting up great stats, great numbers. He is very on ball for the New York Knicks, and he is a guy that kind of seems like Knicks fans kind of have a love-hate relationship with him. And at times he can be kind of inconsistent. At times he can kind of be a little frustrating. But he's still 29 years old. He's an excellent player, 2-time All-Star, 6'8". He's a guy that can really, when he's on and he's just a bulldozer, right? He is tough, absolutely tough. However, there is an argument to be made to maybe look to go trade Julius Randle. And again, get the proper return, get the right return. Question is, what team would want Julius Randle? Because again, Julius Randle, as good as he is a very specific type of player. I don't think like you could put Julius Randle on any roster and he'd be great, or any roster and he'd dominate, right? You got to put him on a roster that could use some kind of secondary playmaking, some rebounding, be another guy, because he is heavily on ball. He gets the ball in his hands. He's accustomed to having it in his hands heavily between him and Jalen Brunson. That's why a guy like OG Anunoby was so great, because he's so good off ball, can defend the best player on the other team. But the other thing is, too, is that Julius Randle, there's questions just on the defensive side of things, right? Again, he has moments. He has great just stretches. But he's not like some lockdown defensive guy that you're like, oh, this is the guy that you want defending the best player on the other team, right? This season, he's league average. He's 115 defensive rating, which isn't bad. It's league average, but he's not like some lockdown defensive guy. So my thinking is like, okay, if the Knicks really are open to trading for Julius Randle, or trading Julius Randle, and they can find a right, proper move, maybe you go get Pascal Siakam. Right? Because the Toronto Raptors, we got reports that, look, Toronto is going to find a trade one way or another for Pascal Siakam. And I think, personally, some people may agree, some people might disagree, but Pascal Siakam, to me, is an upgrade over Julius Randle. Right? If you could trade, and look, the Raptors probably aren't going to want Julius Randle. I don't see that being the case. So my thinking would be you trade Julius Randle elsewhere. Maybe you even get some assets that could be enticing to the Raptors to then, in return, go and get Pascal Siakam, right? Because Pascal Siakam, I believe, is a better player. I think he'd be a better fit. He's still a guy that can do a lot of the same things as Julius Randle, be a secondary playmaker, rebound the basketball. He's a better defensive guy, right? He's another guy that can defend the best player on the other team on any given night. He's a guy that I do think, you basically have him and OG, right, who is on the Knicks now. You could have OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam kind of out as your wing players. When Mitchell Robinson comes back, you got Mitchell Robinson, you got Siakam, you got OG Anunoby. You go with like Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson, I think that would be pretty solid. And again, they're very comparable. They're both 29 years old, both 6'8". However, Siakam has a much bigger wingspan at 7'3" as far as a wingspan goes. And I mean, even like their stats and stuff are very similar, right? Pascal Siakam's taking fewer shots, though. He's taking 16 attempts per game. He's playing 35 minutes a game, 34.7. He's shooting 52.6% from the field total, so get slightly better. He also takes fewer three-point attempts, so that's something else. He's shooting 33.1% from three-point range. However, the last 5 games or whatever, he's been shooting close to 50% or something crazy like that. Shooting 58.4% from 2-point range, 75.3% from the foul line. And he's not averaging the rebounds, but he is averaging, again, very similar, 22 points, 6.3 rebounds, 4.9 assists, a steal, half a block. So, I mean, their numbers are very identical, very comparable. And he's doing such on fewer attempts, right? He's averaging 2 more fewer attempts. Let's say he makes one of those, he's averaging the same amount of points as Julius Randle. So you do get that. I think you get a little bigger, a little more versatility. He's not the bulldozer that Julius Randle is, but I think at times Pascal Siakam is a little more consistent. Julius Randle kind of likes to play hero at times and kind of try to take over games on the stretch. And you see a lot of times he'll just completely shoot the Knicks out the game or completely just bumble it for the Knicks. Where I think Pascal Siakam, he would be able to kind of fit better, blend in better. You wouldn't have this kind of you go, I go at times with a Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, right? And again, I still think you get the same secondary playmaking from Pascal Siakam, get the upgrade in just wingspan length, switchability, versatility, right? Pascal Siakam can defend more positions, in my opinion, than Julius Randle can. And I like the idea. And again, I mean, you already established a trade relationship with the Toronto Raptors and the OG Anunoby trade, right? You could ask, well, why wouldn't you just trade for Pascal at the same time? I mean, again, it depends on what the asking price was then compared to maybe when you get closer to the trade deadline. Also, at the time, were they willing to trade Julius Randle? Was it something that they were considering, or was it something that they were just nah, we're not going to do, and then maybe they changed their mind? Again, I don't think that they're going to trade Julius Randle. I don't think that they necessarily want to, but I think if they can find the right deal, then I think you could do it. And who knows, maybe one of the reasons why is because, hey, maybe we could go get Pascal Siakam, right? But I think you've already established the relationship. If you can turn Julius Randle into maybe pieces that could make sense for Toronto, I think you can kind of have this win-win situation. Again, because I do think in a lot of ways the OG for RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley, I thought was really a win-win for both teams too. I thought, it kind of gave both teams what they wanted, what they needed as far as just the shape and direction in which their rosters are headed. But again, if you can bring OG and you can bring, well, you already brought OG, but if you can bring Siakam, then you'd also have kind of that built-in chemistry, right? You'd have that kind of, just that group, that foundation. OG, Pascal, Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart, and or you go DiVincenzo, or you have options there. And then Jalen Brunson, I think, is a really nice balanced attack. And I think you get more versatility on the defensive side, which I think would then help Jalen Brunson because he can be a liability on the defensive side at times. And I just think that now it's okay, well, now you're in a position to where you basically got the 2 best players from Toronto adding to your group of core guys, and you kind of upgrade, right? Question is how much, right? Is it a marginal upgrade, or is it something that is significant? I just think Pascal would be a better just fit with what you got, what you're trying to do, right? I just think you'd have better balance with him. Even if the upside, like, even if it is kind of a lateral movement, right? And to some degree, obviously, it also depends on what you're giving up. I think you'd be better defensively. I think you still get the same production that Julius Randle provides, but I think you don't get that conflict that you get with the Knicks at times, where Julius Randle wants to be the guy down the stretch and he gets frustrated, and you see him on the court, right? Like, somebody else will take a shot and he's just like throwing his hands in the air or not getting back on defense or just frustrated that somebody else took the shot. I don't think you'd get that with Pascal, right? I think you'd get somebody that like is just kind of more team, where Julius Randle at times can kind of come off a little selfish, right? So I like the idea. But as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Do you like the idea of maybe turning Julius Randle into Pascal Siakam? Do you think no, you might as well just keep Julius Randle, it's not worth it? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you like this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Helps me to enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Now subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.